Hello Dream Team, and a very warm welcome to this week's episode of The Good, The Bad and The Rugby in partnership with our good friends at Continental Tires. I hope you'll keep. Our guest this week, though, is just biding his time for the quarterfinals. That is the kind of gambler that he is. And in a week in which Ireland delivered arguably the biggest statement of the tournament so far, we have a man with us who cheered as loudly as anyone. The man who will surely play Johnny Sexton in the Hollywood epic if Ireland do go all the way.
You've got to have skill.
Do you think? He's got to go better than Matt Damon.
That's all you got to do. Is just lean on him that he's got no skill, and he'll come out fighting.
Jamie Dornan.
Hello.
Jamie Dornan, how are you?
Good. Yes, thank you for having me on. I'm great.
Very nice to have you with us. Where were you watching on Saturday night? How loudly did you cheer? What did it mean to you?
I cried 3 times.
You stop
that
it, really?
Probably tells you quite a lot about my emotional state that I was in watching it. I was.
What the hell were you drinking?
I was so nervous. Honestly, I was terrified. I was just couldn't sit down. I can rarely sit down when I'm watching Ireland play, but we had some family over, and they came over, and I just said, like, listen, I can't. I will be there in the beginnings and the greetings, and then I said, look, from 7:30 onwards, I needed half an hour build up. I need to be alone
in the zone.
And luckily we have a couple of different rooms with TVs, and I said, so I was like, look, I'm going to go down to this room, and What's a Rugby tried to entice one of our kids was a sleepover. I tried to entice our 7-year-old to come down. So I'm trying to make sure that they are Ireland rugby fans, even though they're like posh English kids. Cried during both anthems, and I was like, I need to get a grip on here. Like, we haven't started.
Are you full kit at this point?
No, I'm not.
Full kit.
Imagine that. That's why he has to go to the West Wing.
Full kit.
He's got great calves.
I do have good calves.
He's got great calves. He'll never pull his socks up.
Holding the chest in the living room like that, crying.
I was wearing a little touch of green. I thought that's important to do. No, I don't know. These games, they build up so much in your mind about, it's a group game, but like the importance wasn't lost on anyone, and we hadn't been tested yet. We haven't been tested for 16 games, but you felt the importance of that match, and so I watched it pretty much by myself. Now and again, if I was screaming so loudly, someone would come honestly to make sure if I was okay. So I had a few visitors came down, refilled my wine glass a couple of times to bring it back up, and it was just an unbelievable test match. I always say the second test in Lions 2009 to South Africa was the best game of rugby I've ever seen, and I honestly thought that ran it close. It was just an incredible game of rugby, and to come out on top is massive.
I've never cared for anything in life as much as he cares about Ireland playing. I've never met anyone like. I'm not even sure I like my kid as much as you like again.
It's so funny though. I think if you look at all sort of actors who watch sport, they are so driven by emotion that they get.
Oh.
I mean, let's just talk about that. The atmosphere in that stadium on Saturday was unbelievable.
But
the
you could
feels of
feel
Athenry
that
and the stop
through
of
the
you can
TV.
You could.
Jesus.
You could just see. The Irish fan is like water. It will get fucking anywhere. It can find a ticket. It can find everything. And it was literally
it's an entity.
It was literally
a
stadium of green.
Yeah.
And then even at the end, with Zombie at the end,
it
was just. And the physicality. We talk about everything that goes on in the sport at the moment, but why did everyone love that? It was just two titans going toe to toe, physically. It's a full reason why it's called a test match. But I say everything he gets really emotional because actors get into why the backstories of every player and how they've got their families. They're wearing their family on their sleeves. And literally,
Can't you act more like a man and stop fucking crying in rugby? I'd be like, can we go to the sit? Like, James crying again. This is awful, mate. Can you stop crying?
The amount of players who during the anthems are crying, like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, Lawrence Lally used to cry during the evening anthem, but only when he saw the red light come on the camera. It was like Pavlov. It's like Pavlov's dog. As soon as he looked, it was straight away.
Good for the show.
You know what? No, I just say I know I have fallen back in love with rugby after that game. Genuinely, I obviously watched a lot of rugby, as you know, but I couldn't. I honestly was so miserable about rugby. I was like bored. I thought this is awful. That game has reignited a passion. I could watch that kind of rugby every week. It was powerful. It was strong.
You should just support Ireland.
I think I am.
We're playing that level all the time.
Okay, am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, you can go on a transfer. I think most England fans would be happy to say, Ireland is all yours.
I have to say, like, even my wife wouldn't be a big rugby fan, and I've tried for years to get her into it, and I brought her to Twickenham when we won one of our many Grand Slams in 2018.
Wow, it's amazing what one win does in the big stage, doesn't it?
No, hold on. I'm
16
talking about another of the bag
It's amazing
5
when
wins in a
Ireland
row.
are doing well and England doing shit. That's the only time I'll just get one.
That's
I'll
rugby these days.
I'll get one WhatsApp going. So, how's England doing?
Yeah, wait, and there's 50 on red.
How good's Eddie?
There's 50 from Mike. How are you, mate? How's he? How's the family, mate? Where are you?
When
Where
are
are
you
you?
catching
Nothing.
up?
Unlucky.
Why are you ignoring me?
So I brought her to Twickenham 2018. If anyone was there, it was the coldest.
last thing
Was it?
game.
It was the coldest day I've ever been outside. Like it was dramatically cold. And my wife just turned to me and was like, "Please don't make me do this again. Like I can't do it." And I said, and we'd won the Grand Slam, and so she's just been to rugby. But actually, she watched the second half with me and actually went, "I've got to admit that was really exciting." So I think
you played that well, didn't you? You Googled what is the coldest day ever. Take the wife. She's like, "Look, just go with your mates."
No, I just wanted to be there.
But I want you to come.
Please
okay,
don't
go
do
with
this
my
again.
mates.
I wanted to be there. I've been there for all the Grand Slams. 09, Cardiff, 18, and then of course, if we want to talk about the most recent Grand Slam in Dublin.
I didn't get anything out of him for 40 minutes. I sat next to Jimmy Nesbitt, and Jimmy Nesbitt didn't speak for 40 minutes. I've got some good pictures of him going, "Oh my God, we're going to lose."
Unreal. Can I ask you, because it is very interesting, I mean, obviously the team is sensational, and you've mentioned 60 on the backs already, but it's very interesting watching the psychology of Ireland fans. And we had Rory Best on our breakdown this week on our React show, and he was saying, watching, he was terribly nervous, really didn't quite know where to place himself. This is quite an interesting window into the psyche of Irish sports fans, because you think of Jack Charlton in '94 and the sort of the wave of green and the euphoria of being an underdog, but you are now the number one team in the world. You are expected to go deep into the tournament. People are talking about you winning, and yet you've never been through a quarter-final. You've now overcome the biggest test in your group, which is South Africa. It sort of feels a little bit like the Irish nation doesn't quite know whether they're coming or going at the moment.
I think what's happened is there's always been we're just the underdog forever. You know, even going into the last World Cup, we were one, shifted to two the couple of days before the World Cup. But I think we knew, if we were honest with ourselves, that we weren't the best team in the world going into the last World Cup. And I think, you know, hats off to Andy Farrell. He seems to have made us, you know, or certainly made us, but us as a nation and us as a country, but certainly the team believe that they're worthy of that position. He's added this sort of grit, and you know, Joe Schmidt got them playing sort of sexy rugby essentially, and having a bit of confidence to throw it around. And Andy Farrell has just inserted this sort of resilience and belief, and you know, he's hard as fuck, Andy Farrell, I believe, and he's offered that to the lads, and they seem to have taken that on. And there just feels different. It just feels different.
Haskell always describes Andy Farrell as the alpha male, and he passes that on.
Farrell's is the ultimate alpha male, like, you know.
Yeah,
and it's like it almost looking out in the jungle. If there's another alpha, he was just coming out for the alpha. I mean, all
there
the time.
you go. But I don't think they're nervous
Jamie's
now.
house on, shut up, Jamie.
Shut up, Jamie! You're fucking crying, mate. Fucking toughen up, you prick. Stop drinking rosé. That's the first fucking mistake, mate.
But there's a belief now. There's a belief.
We always stick in a continental showstopper of the week. So pick us the moment of the match from your perspective. The moment when you thought, hang on, this is really where it needs to be.
Kelleher finally found his man with the
nice touch.
fourth line out of the
We tend to give a little bit more glory than a guy who's hit 0 from 6.
No,
but
we're just
I like what you've done there.
I think moment of the match, holding up your big man,
Ebenet.
Fuck me, what a moment. And
just smashing.
Just doing that with sheer strength, legally, and just like taking a man like that and making him look that size.
Yeah.
And that turnover is huge.
Yeah, it was a hell of a moment. James Lowe on Ebenet Sabeth. That is our continental showstopper moment of the week. Well done to the boys in green. I want to come back to how far you now think Ireland will go, unless you want to answer it in one word. But before we come on to your love of rugby, it's worth mentioning you played to a handy level as well. Were you Ulster Academy, Ulster under 21s?
It was a wee bit different then. This is 20 odd years ago. I had an Ulster under 21 trial, and I sat on the bench for Ulster under 21s in one game.
That is still representing.
So normally at this point, Haas could have told you to shut up, mate.
I'm like, come on, mate. We've all had trials.
Hang on.
Give it a rest, bro.
No, it's on the bench. It's on the bench.
Did you get the stash? Did you get a bag? And
I did get the stash.
There you go.
And it was back when it was those Canterbury tops that were kind of like shell suit material, two-tone.
Have you still got it now? Do you wear it every now and then?
He was wearing it on Saturday. He was wearing it on Saturday.
Whatever he says, it's in his bathroom.
Yeah, it's framed. I wish to God I still had that. I don't. And I lost it on like a trip. I had it away on like I think weirdly a ski trip. I had it with me, and it didn't come back with me. And I'm pretty gutted because it was kind of like, for some people who don't believe me, it was like the only thing I had. But it was a strange year because I only played one good year of rugby. I wasn't even that good at school, and then I left school and I had one good year of like club rugby back in Belfast.
What position were you?
I was fly half most of the way through school, and then
Obviously.
on the wing, and then I was pretty rapid.
You don't
as
do
Mike
fly
knows.
half and then move
Listen,
to the wing.
I remember Draco giving me a hard time about this. Because I remember thinking, because then once I moved on the wing, I played much better rugby. And then I was like, saw it as like a progression. And
Progression. Basically, couldn't pass, couldn't offload, couldn't control anything, but really quick. Just get out there, will you, mate?
It looked good.
Yeah.
Then when I moved to London, I was still played a bit of rugby. I went back to 10 for a bit. I have to say, I did enjoy that. But no, I played my best rugby in the wing. Got this +21 trial. Didn't even go that well. And then I got called up and I sat on the bench. It was a weird season because there was only 5 or 6 fixtures, and it was ravaged. It was foot and mouth. It was foot and mouth. The whole season was they only played 2 games because of foot and mouth.
When you played it, like you had foot and mouth.
Harsh.
I think if foot and mouth hadn't come, I could have been
You
playing.
could have been a contender.
Gone all distance. Could have gone all distance.
I could have been playing this.
I've never heard that. I've heard a lot of people tell me I could have made it if it wasn't for a knee injury, but I've never heard anyone, if it wasn't for foot and mouth, I'd be playing for Ireland now.